Welcome to the Dan Casper Show podcast, your chance to catch the full show anytime, anywhere. If you missed it live on the radio, no worries. We've got you covered with all the sports talk, opinions, interviews, and conversations from the show. From the Packers to the Brewers to the biggest stories in sports and around Wisconsin, it's all right here. This is the Dan Casper Show podcast. All right, it is the final hour on this Monday morning. Thanks for making us a part of your start, and hopefully you had a fantastic weekend, so you're ready to hit up a brand new work week here. We'll get back to some more Brewers chat as the Brewers wrapping up a 4-game series against the Dodgers, taking 3 out of 4. So we'll get back to some baseball chat as we look at the final quarter of this regular season now upon us. And American League, it's quite the chase there for maybe the last couple spots for the wild card round. That includes the Twinnies in action there too. They're still in it amongst a lot of other teams. Mariners, Blue Jays, Baltimore's holding on to a spot too. So lots to kind of go over with Major League Baseball at this point in time. But we kick off this hour catching up, speaking of baseball, with the Eau Claire Express. Mr. Craig Toycen joining us in studio. Good morning. First of all, congratulations on a very successful season. I know it ended maybe a game too short for you guys, but I saw your statement and some of your tweets. I mean, when you take a step back and look at this from beginning to finish, awesome season.
It was a fun summer, and to finish with, I think we had 13 home games in 16 days. Voice still isn't totally back yet. I'm struggling with that. It was an unbelievable way to end the year. Like I said, made the Final Four, didn't quite get over the hump this year, but it was a great group of guys, and I think that contributed to it quite a bit because there's some very emotional host families at the end of the season, and that tells you what you need to know about what this group was. And they lingered in that dugout for quite a while, saying goodbye to each other, and it was a special group of guys with a group we won't forget for a long time. That's
the one I always say kind of downfall of sports is that finality right away when you're not really expecting it, and all of a sudden it's like it's a hard emotional time too. So
yeah, I found that a couple of years we made the playoffs, a couple of years we haven't, and when the years where it's just not happening, you can really kind of have a chance to unwind the season or wind down the season. That's the right word for it. And this year we're in the playoffs, and we just really had high aspirations. Best record in the league. Second best was Lacrosse, and we beat them in a 3-game series. So then it's just St. Cloud and then hopefully Royal Oak. And so when that comes down to just one game and that's it, it's a tough pill to swallow. But like I said, unbelievable group of guys, some amazing Northwoods League records set this year, some team records set this year. So cool to be a part of. It was a lot of fun.
You talk about that playoff series. I mean, script writers can't have it better with you in Lacrosse, in that 3-game playoff series. It goes to a decisive game 3. I mean, how nervous were you heading into that game 3?
Well, it even goes back before that, because on Saturday we had what we, quote unquote, a meaningless game and against the Waterloo Bucks, and we'd already locked up home field, and Lacrosse was going to come. We were going to go to Lacrosse for game 1. They were coming to us for games 2 and 3. And we were down 11-1, and we had some friends along, and I kind of apologized. I'm like, I hate to say it's kind of a meaningless game, and the guys, probably had a good time last night, and but they came back and battled, just kind of chipped away, and ended up winning the game in 14-13 in 10 innings. So that kind of started the train. Like this group's special, and we can never count them out. So even when it was 10-5 in the last game, like you never know. I never know how this is going to finish up. But game 1 down in Lacrosse, up 6-3. Really feeling pretty good about things, but then you just never know because it's playoff baseball and Lacrosse is good, and they've walked us off this year in the late innings home run. And in fact, the guy who walked us off, Malau Kong, King Kong they call him, big Hawaiian kid, comes up with a chance to tie the game and hits into a double play to end it. And it was a very proud moment for that. We probably only had 50, 60 Express fans there. And if you listen back to the broadcast, it sounded like a home game. It was loud, and it was a fun one. So that started us off, and then dropping game 2, but game 3, it was a nerve-wracking game, that's for sure. Because you don't want to come that far and then just not get it done, especially in the first round. So I had some other friends along with me, and the 9th inning they started asking me questions about dealership stuff to try to distract me. Like, I know what you're doing, knock it off. Let's just watch this. So fun game. And I had some Lacrosse parents sitting in front of me, so you wanted to be obviously respectful, but it was. I told people the host families. I think 3 of my all-time favorite 4 games we're in the last 3 of the 4 games. That's what I'm trying to say. In this season, between the 2 playoff wins and then that Waterloo victory was pretty awesome. So it was a great summer.
Yeah, I mean, the fan support too. I mean, just especially towards the end of the season to see how packed, Carson Park was.
Yeah.
And, finding hard to find seats sometimes in the fan deck because it was just so packed with all the fan supports.
Yeah, fan deck sold out a bunch of times. Playoff games, we had 1,079 for our first playoff game at home, which might not sound like a lot, but that was the highest of any team in the league. That includes Madison hosting games. And we averaged over 1,000 fans in the playoffs, which led the league in playoff attendance. So to me, it really shows there's a strong baseball base here because the fans for the playoffs, they're there to watch that game and be engaged in the game. Yeah. So to see that kind of a crowd there, to hear that kind of energy, which I know our players built off of that. When Sawyer Stein hit the tying home run to make it a 4-4 game in game 1, or the game against St. Cloud, that place erupted, and that was pretty awesome to be a part of. And to see people, feel the emotions of that. When Cade Palkowski catches the last out against La Crosse, and the double play when Jacob LeQuay gets the guy to pop up to Jackson Schumacher on a bunt, and we double off Savion Flowers at first base on a high throw to Sawyer Stein. I mean, those plays are plays that I'm going to remember for a long time. Just not only because they were such great plays, but just because the way the crowd energy affected the game. It was awesome.
Yeah, and I mean, well, not to kind of look too far ahead right away, but I mean, just the other day, a few days ago, talk about the crowds and the fan base. Carson Park's going to get some updates too, with to help some out with the fans with some updates to the bleachers.
Yeah, all plans that predate me, which is cool to see things come to fruition. Talked about for years and years and years, and we all love Carson Park. I want to make that clear first and foremost. But a 90-year-old stadium was built for a different crowd in a different era, and things like ADA accessibility wasn't really talked about back 90 years ago. So to have new bleachers coming after next season, so those are a year out yet, that will be huge because you will have better views, accessibility, match what the dugouts are, because that was all part of a long-term project.
Yep.
But having new bathrooms that are winterized too, so the university, the high schools that play there early spring will all have access to these bathrooms. So much more use and convenience to them. There'll be all concrete back behind first base where those are going. New apparel shop back in there too, which will be great. So it's just cool to see Carson Park get some of the love that it needs, because it's an amazingly historic place. Players are blown away when they come visit it and get to play there, and we see it from out of town teams too. They're like, "Man, that's pretty cool." You see the Henry Aaron statue out front, so it's cool to see. And then we had the makers of the Uke movie here. I was just going to
ask that, yeah.
Yeah, so I mean, to know that his history starts here as well, it's pretty awesome. Yeah.
It is. I mean, when you kind of touched on it a little bit here about some of the plays and such, but when you look back at this season, it's still kind of fresh in your mind. But I mean, what would be like maybe the one word or phrase you would use to describe this past season?
Pitching is the first thing that comes to mind, because we set a new Northwoods League record for strikeouts. Nice. And on top of that, we were also towards the best in the league in terms of walks and ERA. So our pitching staff was dominant all year. And I, Pete Knutson always sends like some advanced stats because he's into that stuff and does a great job with pregame prep. At one point in the year, when we had a lead after the 5th inning, we were 33-3. And that tells you, not only do we have quality starting throughout the year, we had great relief pitching as well. And we went through a couple closers. Ollie Martell was only with us the first half, but, went into the All-Star game with a 0 ERA. I mean, hadn't given up a run. And he finally gave up one like late in the year. And honestly, I think he almost felt better just to kind of have that monkey off his back. But then we had Zach Peters, and then Jackson Niederwerder came in and did a great job. Jacob LeQuay finished a couple games for us, and just all guys that could throw darts. I mean, it was pretty awesome to see. So great pitching stuff. But then timely hitting, too, is the other thing I'd bring up, that we didn't have some of the highest batting averages early in the year, and it took a little while for the hitting to get going. But then, Holland Brock hit 357, Cade Palkowski 337. Anthony Martinez set a new team record in slugging percentage at 565. Those are crazy stats. Jake Bussin at least tied the home run record. I don't know if that postseason home run counts to break it, but hoping he'll be back next year just to kind of finish out his career. But one of my all-time favorite Express players. So just great pitching overall this year, and timely hitting to kind of keep us in games and move the needle.
And you look too, I mean, quite a few local representation too with some of these kids, sticking around and playing with the Express too. I mean, kind of showcasing what we see at what we've seen at the high school level too.
Yeah, we've really seen an uptick in high schoolers from the area playing high-level college baseball. And, Jacob LeQuay going to D1 now from Chippewa Falls is going to be Western Illinois. Warren Bovey pitching D1 at St. Thomas. Sawyer Stein's going to University of Iowa next year. He's a post-53 alumni, Eau Claire Memorial alumni, going to go play a D1 baseball. So some great talent locally, which is just really cool to see them get the opportunity and do well with it. I mean, and obviously C.J. Varsho having an unbelievable year. And sorry he ended the season banged up, so we didn't have him for those last couple playoff games because he was a difference maker all year in the base paths. Unbelievable eye at the plate, and I would say one of the best defensive center fielders I've seen in the league in terms of range, reading the ball off the bat, and making plays. So,
And then you go to the All-Star game. I mean, you guys had the most All-Stars, represented at the game, which happened to be at Field of Dreams. I mean, there's so many memories when you're going to be thinking about this
and
season.
Excited for a new team coming into the league from Field of Dreams down in Dyersville Dreamers. So I'm excited to sneak back down there for more games because I've been to Field of Dreams twice, and I never get sick of visiting that place. It's a magical place. Dyersville's a great town. Dubuque down there's a great place, a great city too. So I'm excited to sneak down there.
You mentioned
from years on.
So you mentioned them. Is that going to be the Duluth team potentially? Have they made that
so Rochester Honkers are not going to be in the league next year. They're going dormant for the time being.
Okay.
We're not totally sure what the long-term plan is there. I know they've got some stadium issues they got to figure out where it's an older stadium and it needs some investment in order to continue on. So that team is going dormant. So this is actually technically an expansion team, but it's the same guys who own lacrosse. And I don't want to downplay our rival with lacrosse because I love how the fans get up for that one. But great to see those guys in the postseason. Chris Goodell is one of the great guys in the league, and Dan and Ben Kopenke are good too. So see them, give them a hug, handshake, and hope you don't beat us, but good luck type thing. So,
Exactly.
But yeah, they'll do a great job down in Dyersville.
So what's kind of the plan now going forward? I know it's still kind of fresh in the off season, but Northwoods League wise, Express wise, what does this time of year kind of look like now for you?
Yeah,
guys?
I always we let Dale hibernate is the word I always use. He's got to hibernate for a couple weeks, and this is an especially exhausting season with so much going on. That long road trip in July for the Eau Claire Fest, which was awesome to see at Eau Claire this year. That was really a cool thing at Carson Park. To showcase the stadium, get a crowd in there that nobody doesn't see what a great place it is. So let him hibernate for a couple weeks, and then we'll start on kind of our renewals. We've got a lot of partners that we need to reach out to and thank them for their support, and start building on what our plans are for next year. We'll have we always call it a good, bad, and ugly meeting that we'll sit down. It'll be Jake and Avery and Dale and myself, and we'll talk about what worked, what didn't, and what was just really needs to significantly change. And we always kind of poll the host families because they're our best user of the ballpark in terms of knowing, they come to 30-some games a year. They see the continual things that are done and need to be improved upon. So we'll get some feedback from them and just kind of start to figure things out for next year and build on it because it was a fun season summer.
Does Northwoods League meeting start beginning of next year, or when does?
No, we'll have league meetings here this fall.
Okay, fall already.
Unfortunately, they're in Grand Forks, North Dakota, which is
boy.
Yeah, no good way to get to. There's a new softball team there, Grand Forks Spitfire. They had their first season, so I'll be making the drive up there at some point this fall, and we'll start to see. It's what I love about the league. It's very collaborative. We go over numbers of who's doing what and what's working well, and sharing ideas of what promotions worked, and it's always fun to connect with everybody. And I was hoping to go introduce myself as the meeting of Northwoods League champion Eau Claire Express, but congrats to the Royal Oak. They've got that honor for the year.
A newer team too, right? In the last few years,
yeah, they were in the Great Lakes League, collegiate league up until I think this was their third year, but they are partially owned by DJ LeMahieu, former American League and National League batting champion, and he was actually the manager. So I was kind of hoping to make.
Oh, really? Wow.
I was hoping to make DJ come to Carson Park and beat us, but congrats to them. They went to St. Cloud. We're down 1-0. I think in the 8th scored 3 runs, so won 3-1 and clinched the championship. So yeah.
From the competitor side, it's got you probably a little extra motivated for next year. Maybe want to get back at it right away. I saw your tweet saying you're super ready already for next year.
Yeah, I always it's always a bittersweet time of year because I'm excited to actually be at my house and sit on my couch again. Because I am in the summertime. I am not home. My family and friends can vouch that I just am not home in the summer. I sleep in my bed and that's about it. It's always kind of nice to get a relationship with my couch again and my family. They're at the ballpark with me, but just to kind of work on some things at home. But we always like to tell ourselves like, well, if we do our jobs well, it doesn't matter if we win or lose. But man, when we win games, it sure makes going to the ballpark a lot more fun. And I can definitely say that for the host families too, because I know a lot of them had the most fun that they've had at a season at Carson Park in a long, long time. Because that was excellent team.
It was a really, really fun team. Excellent team. You're right. So, well, again, Craig, thank you again for an awesome season. Very fun season, and for catching up with us every week too. So it's
thank you for the support. Appreciate it.
No, it's going to the ballpark. I mean, obviously, Hudson's a big baseball fan too, so it's always a great experience going down to Carson Park and watching all those games. And just what a great team too. Seeing those guys interact with the kids too was. I know we've talked about that off and on.
Yeah, that's why I always station there, because it's fun to watch those interactions take place, because the guys are blown away by the support they get. Even the D1 baseball players, they don't have crowds like that. I mean, Stanford has crowds that come watch games, but it's a couple hundred people. It's not 1,500 people, 2,000 people at a game cheering them on and really passionately into it. So they don't take it lightly. Trust me, they are all seeking me out at the end of the season, thanking for the opportunity, and it's cool to see. That's awesome. Well, again, congratulations on a fantastic season. And like you said, already looking forward to next year. Just take a little bit of a break first. That's right. So thank you, Craig. Appreciate it. Thank you. All right, we're going to take a quick break. We'll be back in just a few minutes. Get a big thanks to owner Craig Toycen of the Eau Claire Express for hanging out with me this morning and recapping the awesome, very fun Eau Claire Express season. As if you missed any portion of that or you missed that conversation, that will be up in the All Aboard, the Eau Claire Express podcast later on this morning. I was just looking at, so Codify Baseball, we've referenced this a few times, and they put up some interesting stats and numbers. Well, they put up a graphic, and I believe, because they didn't give the number, so I had to sit there and look. Like those magic eye photos where you got, it's like almost the same image and stuff, but they posted up a graphic of the 300 fastest pitchers or fastest pitches thrown this year. The 300 fastest pitches thrown by MLB starters this year. So they put up a graphic or photo of each starter. I believe, if my eyes are not deceiving me, Jacob Mizorowski's photo appears 298 times out of the 300. 298 times out of the 300. Now, after this season, it probably doesn't surprise a lot of people that he's up there, but still, you're kind of blown away. And it's not just that he throws it so hard. The length of him, the dude is 6'7". Think about this, and I don't think a lot of people kind of maybe factor this in when it comes to the Miz. Yeah, he's got straight heat, but with his length and his follow through, he's like so much closer with his wingspan and his legs. He's like closer to the hitter than a lot of pitchers are. So not only is it coming 103, 104, whatever miles per hour, but maybe a foot closer than an average pitcher. That makes a difference. Makes it even more difficult for those hitters to go after Mizorowski, timing-wise. Golly, I'm so glad he's on the Brewers right now. What a just dominating dude. An absolutely dominating dude. And he showed that again this weekend on Saturday. Like, I don't think there should be any concern. Or concern might be too dramatic of a word. There shouldn't be any questions surrounding Jacob Mizorowski, starting playoff game number 1 or starting a playoff game. This guy has pitched in big moments already. He is this young kid, and you listen to him talk and do interviews. I mean, he doesn't maybe comes off a little quiet at times. He's still young. He collects Pokemon cards. The dude has got like ice in his veins. This is a young pitching staff. Miz, Logan Henderson, Kyle Harrison has pitched more than those two guys, but he's still
younger in age. But those three, man, with the way they've pitched this year, I don't know if that spotlight's going to be too big for these guys when they get to the postseason. And then you throw in Dustin May. If Dustin May pitches like he has the first 2 games of his Brewers career, I'll put that staff up against any starting staff, and that includes the Dodgers. And, yeah, Dodgers on paper, if they're all healthy and, they got their starters back, yeah, that's probably a better staff overall. But these young dudes, they've got the grit. They've got that focus. It's really impressive. And I don't know if it's because, sometimes some people say, oh, they're too young to know, too inexperienced to know any better, or that's just their mental makeup. But there should be no question. Jacob last year, the whirlwind, the hype of all of his matchups, whether it was Skeens, Kershaw, the All-Star thing, and then, kind of trailed off there, goes to the bullpen for the playoffs, pitched in some big-time moments in the playoffs out of the pen. Opening day starter this year. There was talk, nerves, all that, and it's like that guy thrives on pressure. And now, I think you add in Logan Henderson to that. It's still mind-boggling to me because it feels like we've talked about Logan Henderson for years. But really, when you look at it, I'll bring up this number again. Logan Henderson, 17 starts to his career. He threw, in his game yesterday, 7 innings of 1-run ball. It was his 17th consecutive start, allowing 3 runs or fewer to start his career. The third longest streak since 1893. Zach Gallen and Drew Rasmussen had longer streaks. 17 starts to this kid's career. It's still kind of like, dang, he hasn't really pitched that much. We're placing a lot of faith. The Brewers are placing a lot of faith and a lot of pressure on these young studs, but so far, they've embraced it. They've commanded it. They've owned it. And I think when we get to the playoffs, I was one of those that before the deadline, I'm like, I'd like a little veteran presence in that starting pitching staff. Okay, they got it with Dustin May. But the more like Henderson goes out there and dominates, pitches well, I have confidence that Harrison is going to bounce back from his previous start and pitch well. Dustin May has looked good, and Miz has just looked like Miz. This is a foursome, a starting foursome that they're going to do damage in the postseason. I'm confident in that. All right, we got to do some best and worst from the weekend, and then a little Monday morning at Chat GPT. Let's take a quick break, and we'll be back to hit those up. Coming up in just a few minutes. All right, it is time for a little VFW Post 305 best and worst from the weekend. I'll tell you what, I couldn't narrow it down to just one. So I've got a few best and worst from, or best, and a couple worse. So best, I will go with, okay, first of all, seriously, we're doing preseason NFL power rankings. That's from the Sporting News. Stop it. Anyways, all right, that just popped up for me. Best, Brewers take it 3 out of 4. Shout out to Tilden and Whitehall CRBL teams locking up state championships. And I think those are my best. Those are my best. I'll keep it that way. Could go individual players like I'm going to give Logan Henderson a shout out for best of the weekend too. You pick a lot of Brewers though. Worst of the weekend, I don't like the fact that Bryce Terang has a knee injury. Now it sounds like he's going to be playing this series, but something to monitor. The whole Keyshawn Nixon stuff. Just go out there and play better. Third, this is kind of maybe a grind my gears, but since we won't have a program tomorrow because I'll be in Green Bay at this point in time, I don't know if any of you have seen the ESPN Jeopardy. So me and Hudson have been watching this thing. I don't think I'm out of line. Okay, I don't think I'm out of line in saying this. That I think I could do well in that thing. There are some questions where these are sports people, sports anchors, and I guess what I feel like is common sense sports questions, and they don't know the answers. They don't know them. Like one of them, I think it was a Final Jeopardy question. And the question was something about, or I should say the answer was something about this MLB manager who led the Rangers to the 2024-2025 World Series against a team that he beat in his previous stop as a manager. It was Bruce Bochy, okay? It was clearly Bruce Bochy. Nobody got it. Nobody got it. It's stuff like that. I'm like, what are you guys are sports anchors on ESPN. And it's like you don't know about sports. Now, it's probably easier said than done in the moment, but I'm sitting there just like yelling at the TV. What are you doing? What are we doing here? I had to throw that one in there because I'm just like, really? There was an easy basketball one too, and I'm like, what was it? I'm blanking off what it was, and I couldn't believe it. Couldn't believe it. But that's the worst because me and Hudson were watching a few of those this weekend too. I like what? All right, something for me and the kid to kind of watch and test some competition. I think Hudson could probably do better than some of those peeps on there. Just saying. So. All right, got to play a little catch-up here. So let's do our Monday morning chat GPT. So I just simply asked our chat GPT because we're all Monday morning quarterbacks. We're all, every Monday morning, especially during the football season, we're going to be the armchair quarterbacks. We're going to be the Monday morning quarterbacks. We're all going to have thoughts, and we're all going to have opinions on how they should do this, that, blah, 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 blah. Well, we are putting it to the chat GPT test, too, to see if AI agrees with a lot of armchair quarterbacks or Monday morning quarterbacks out there. So the question I threw in there this morning, Keyshawn Nixon. I just threw in, do you think Keyshawn Nixon, given everything that's going on, his comments, his play, should he be on the bubble, the cut line? And after a lot of details here, I won't go through everything, but this is what Monday Morning Chat GPT said. My verdict, 75% keep, 25% release. If we're sitting here 2 weeks from now and Brandon Cisse has completely taken over the first team reps, is making plays every day, and Nixon is getting bumped down the depth chart, then I'd be much more open to taking $5 million, because if you release him, you save about $5 million in cap space and moving on. And honestly, that's a good problem for the Packers to have. You don't release Nixon because you're hoping Cisse is ready. You release Nixon because you've seen enough to know Cisse is ready. Okay, I get it, but I think it's more than Brandon Cisse, ChatGPT. It's got to be more than him. It's, okay, who's Brandon Cisse to me is already CB number one. I just, from everything we've seen, read, heard, he is CB number one. The main question is, who's two? If St. Juice, Benjamin St. Juice, kind of comes in and maybe wins that spot, okay, then you got it. But I think just the depth, the current depth of it is what's going to save Nixon, unless it becomes too much of a distraction. Unless Green Bay goes out there and acquires a corner from somewhere. That would be the only other option. Now, I don't know who that corner would be. I don't know. I don't know who would be potentially available to go out there. But I will say, I wish Green Bay would have made a play for Rasul Douglas in the offseason a little bit more. He's with the Commanders now. I don't want to get into the regular season. Don't want to get to there to where we're having every Monday morning quarterback saying the corners. Nah, crap. Corners again. Corners again. Corners again. I don't want that. All right, we got to take our final break as we start to wrap things up. So we've got some picks coming up here. We'll make some baseball picks as we start to wrap things up. Again, reminder, it's just a walkthrough today for Green Bay. Tomorrow, Brian Gutekunst is going to do a presser at 9. Then it's Matt LaFleur. Then they'll be back at practice. So we'll see what I know that's going to be a big question is probably corners and I would say tight end depth when it comes to Brian Gutekunst. But still got to think of some good questions. I got a few, but I got to think of some that just kind of pop at the top of the mind. So, but that's coming up tomorrow, and then the Brewers will be back at it tonight. So you get a night off. No Brewers game tonight after a fantastic weekend against the Dodgers. So, but we'll take our final break here as we start to wrap up shop. We'll get to some picks coming up after these quick words. All right. Let's start to wrap up this nonsense on this Monday morning. We've got some picks to get to. Baseball picks. Cardinals helping out the Brewers here a little bit, taking down the Cubbies this past weekend. But Cardinals taking on Cincinnati. I'll roll with Cardinals tonight. Baltimore, who is holding on to a wild card spot, they're taking on Tampa Bay tonight. I am going to go with Tampa Bay, though. So I'll go with them. We've got Miami versus Philadelphia. Jansen Junk and Christopher Sanchez. Miami's not going away. So, but I'm still going to go with Philly tonight. So let's go. Whoops, where did we go here? Oh, my window just went down with the schedule. Hold on. Computer malfunction. All right. Here we go. Let's go Detroit versus Pittsburgh. You know what? I'll go Detroit. Why not? This could be a sneaky good series. The Diamondbacks versus Boston. 2 teams fighting for playoff spots. I am going to go with... I'll go Boston tonight. How about that? I'll go Boston. We've got Padres versus the Mets. Yeah, it's Padres. Athletics versus Kansas City. Yeah, Kansas City. Atlanta and the Twins. Oof. Tough matchup for the Twins here. I'm going to go with Atlanta. I got to go Atlanta. So, what else do we have here we got, this is going to be a really fun series. White Sox versus the Cubs. Luis Castillo versus Imanaga. I'm going to go White Sox tonight. Why not? I'm going to do it. So lastly, because we don't have a Brewers game, we got Dodgers versus the Rockies. I'll go with the Dodgers to win. So, again, Brewers will be back at it tomorrow night at home, taking on Seattle. Kyle Harrison's going to get that start tomorrow for the Brewers, looking to bounce back from his previous game against the Padres. Harrison looking for his 10th win on the season. Let's wrap it up with some of your comments. Dave had said a little bit earlier, I know it's only one game, but sure glad that the Brewers did not trade Logan Henderson. The guy continues to get better and better and better, highlighted by yesterday's awesome victory. I think he is going to be a top pitcher in the league for years to come. Another texter, don't have a name, can't give you any cred, but they said, excuse me, I really like the makeup of these 4. I agree. I think Kyle Harris is going to bounce back, and these 4 starters are going to be a tough out in the playoffs. The biggest question is, and still will always be, will they have enough run support? Greg also saying a little bit earlier about the Brewers. I don't know how this Brewers team took 3 out of 4 against the Dodgers with that lineup that they put out there this weekend. But, man, this team is so fun to watch. I feel like we say that every year, but every year they kind of exceed it. You're having Gary Sanchez, Andrew Vaughn, Jake Bauers, and Contreras all playing at the same time. Sanchez at first, Vaughn at third base, and you still win. That is the makeup of a really good team. Another texter says, as much as I don't want to see Sanchez play at first and Vaughn play at third consistently, the fact that they were able to still pick up wins with a hodgepodge lineup, like you said, shows that this is a team that I believe is on its path to destiny. And then we had Kevin earlier saying, I still feel like the Brewers are going to be a quick out in the postseason. I don't like the fact that they still can't hit home runs. When it comes to the postseason, a game could change on the swing of a bat, and the Brewers don't have that consistent power bat. Jake Bauers is having a great season, but I wouldn't call him a consistent power bat this year. Yeah, no, I mean, going back to the home run, lack of home runs, that's going to be the question. We know this. It was the question before the season began. It was the question after the first quarter. It was the question at the All-Star break. It was the question before the trade deadline, and it will be finishing off this regular season and once it gets to the postseason. Can the Brewers win without hitting a lot of home runs? That is still the question. And right now, I mean, you go back to last year, you could say no. The question is, I think we got to rephrase the question here a bit. It's not, can they win without hitting a bunch of home runs? Because they've won. They have the most wins. It's, can that style win in the postseason? It can win you regular season games. It can win you a lot of regular season games. But can it win in the postseason? And I think for the Brewers' case, and maybe more so for the fans, can it just win one time in the postseason? One time being like one championship? Just one time? Can we just get one? Let's just get this one. And then in a few years, we'll say, okay, can we have another one? We want another one. We want that feeling again, right? You hear that a lot from pro athletes or athletes in general. After they get that one, you hear like a lot at the Super Bowl. I've heard Favre talk about this, and I've heard Rodgers talk about this. You know, after they won a Super Bowl, then they just kind of had like this feeling of like, that's it. Like you chase so hard and you focus so hard on that first one. And then maybe it just doesn't live up. I don't know, but they always had this feeling of like, what next? What's left? And then you kind of get that taste like, okay, I got to get another one. I got to get another one. I got to get another one. So as much as we want just one right now for Brewers fans, guarantee you, okay, after that first one, you're like, okay, I want another one now. Winning's addicting, right? But I think in this case, with this offense, we're just hoping as Brewers fans, can this style work just once? Just one time. Just one time in the postseason. Given where everything's at in the standings, this is going to be a crazy finish to the final quarter of this regular season. AL, all but 3 teams are alive in this thing. That's how crazy it is. Your division leaders in the AL is Tampa Bay, the White Sox, and the Astros. Wild card, Yankees, Boston. And right now, there's 2 teams in the American League wild card chase that have winning records. The Yankees and Boston. You would not have thought about that for Boston in the first half of the season. Those are the only 2 teams that have a winning record that are holding onto a wild card spot. Baltimore's got the 3rd spot. They're 2 games under 500. Texas is just a half game back. Toronto is a game back. Detroit's a game back. The Twins are 1.5 back. Cleveland's 1.5 back. Seattle's 2.5 back. And then you got Kansas City, Athletics, and the Angels, double-digit games back. That is going to be an insane finish, probably for that final wild card spot in the American League. National League, it's separated itself a little bit more. Brewers, Braves, Dodgers. Then you got the Cubs firmly in that wild card spot. Phillies there. The Padres are there. They've got the same exact record. 67-58. But the Diamondbacks are just a game back. Marlins aren't going anywhere. They're 3 games back. Cardinals are just 3.5 back after going 7-3 in their last 10. Pittsburgh, this is kind of where it starts to fall off. So the Cardinals are 3.5 back. Then it's Pittsburgh at 6.5, Cincinnati at 7. But, man, that American League, it's almost like by default who's going to get that final wild card spot. The Rays are the only team in the American League that have 70 or more wins. They're 74-49. Then it's the Yankees, 69-55. And then it's the Red Sox with the 3rd best record wins-wise in the American League. That turnaround has been amazing. The 3 best records in the American League, all from the same division. Then you got the White Sox, who are up 5.5 on the Tigers, 6 on the Twins, 6 on the Guardians. Astros, they're just 2 games up on the Rangers. The only teams with winning records in the American League, there's 5 of them. 3 are from the American League East. Tampa Bay, New York, Boston, then the White Sox, and then Houston, 1 game above 500. That's it. It's like old school, early 2000s Eastern Conference in the NBA, where it felt like half the teams were in the postseason and they had under 500 records. That's what the American League kind of looks like now. All right, shot clock's going to cut me off. Have a fantastic rest of your day. Reminder, we won't have a show tomorrow. I'll be in Green Bay doing some coverage for the Packers, but we'll be doing the program Wednesday morning from Green Bay. Okay, so we'll be back Wednesday morning from Green Bay. Have a good rest of your day, peeps. Thanks for all the contributions, texts, comments.